I'm going to start on this first topic, Introduction to the Large-Scale WLANs. So here is the forward. Large-scale WLAN on the enterprise network are deployed in the headquarters of the medium to the large-scale enterprise. So that means include those of the branches, university, and also the airport. So the cost describe the parameter setting for the APs go to online and the typical application. And we will also going to show you some of the configuration and maintenance of the large-scale WLAN. Okay, here have some of the objective. After this course, you'll be able to understand the typical application and the characteristic of the large scale of WLAN. Understand the CAPWAP. The full name for the CAPWAP here is stand for Control and Provisioning of Wireless Access Point. Then to set the parameter for the AP goes online. Understand using the AC and the AP upgrade mode. Okay, so behind here we have some of the configuration and how to maintain the basic WLAN service. Let us start the first content. So typical application of a large-scale WLAN campus network. Most of the WLAN you deploy at like the mobile office. Then the next one, they have the BYOD, bring your own device. So this one is allow all the employee and also the clients can using their own device to access to the internet without using the fixed network. And the last one will be the Internet of Things. This few of the application of the large-scale WLAN campus. Using the WLAN in some campus like the meeting room, conference room. So when they try to having some of the meeting in the room, instead of using the wire, we can using the wireless to get some access and connect all together. So it's also very suitable for some of the video conference. The next one, hospital. This is for the nurse and also the doctor inside the hospital. When they want to sharing and report all the patient status, so they no need to go through the paperwork anymore. So they can using their mobile device and share the detail. The doctor can able to know all the patient status in the real time. Then it's also include the school. Okay, library is allow all the students can do some research and searching for some of the website they want to browse. And lastly, also is for the airport. Okay, so the previous one is all the typical application used for the large-scale WLAN campus network. Now we'll move into the second content here. This is about the AP go online process and also the configuration. Here is the roadmap. So you're able to see from the beginning, they have the start on the top. And AP obtain the IP address. This is happening for every single IP device. So before they can able to go online, the first step, they require to obtain the IP address from the DHCP server if you're running the dynamic way to getting the IP. Or we can using a static. After the AP obtain the IP address, the second step, you go to the to discover the AC. If right now this AP is belong to those feed AP, it depends on the AC and run. So it requires running the CAPWAP protocol to communicate. So right now, if right now they belong to the layer 2 communication, which is mean the AC and also the AP is belong to the same segment. So it will going to send the broadcast CAPWAP to form the tunnel. After they successful form the CAPWAP tunnel, so all the AP we're going to check is they have any upgrade required or not. If yes, the AP we're going to get the latest file from the AC itself, and this one will depend on the upgrade mode, the method that you're going to set from your AC. Using the CAPWAP tunnel and getting those of the resource from your AC and perform the upgrade. So after upgrade, they're going to reboot, restart the AP and go back to the beginning step again. Because after they upgrade the system, they require to reboot the AP. All right. So I will go back to here. When there is no upgrade required, the AP doesn't need to do any upgrade for the firmware, it will straight away go online and connect with the AC. Then finally end. The function of the DHCP is assigning the IP address to the APs and some of the SDAs for them to go online. Every single IP device, they always require the IP before they can get and go online. Configure an AC as a DHCP server or deploy an independent DHCP server. So the DHCP server, we can always configure in the AC itself, or we can try to using some other equipment like maybe the router, firewall, or maybe the call switch, some of the access switch to become your DHCP server. The way to enable that is very simple. The large-scale campus network usually use an independent DHCP server. And this is a configuration on the Windows 2003 DHCP server. So you have to open this page, and then what you need to do is from the selection here, the DHCP, you need to create a new scope. Okay, just right click on the DHCP option and then right click, select the new scope, because we're going to create a new range and some of the IP gateway from here. Next step, we need to configure the name and try to give some of the description here. So this step should be very simple. As usual, we have to giving the range of the IP they're going to assign to all the access client. So when the client trying to send the request from the server, so what is the range of the IP address could be assigned to all the client. That's why from here we can able to configure the start IP address and also the end IP address. So giving the network segment they want to assign for all the user. So example here, they're giving 10.23.101.2, and you're going to end up at the host address to 254. So, and the last one over here is about the subnet mask. So don't forget to give the range of the subnet mask here. Then we go for next. Now you can see after we create the new scope and you set the range and also the subnet, you should able to see there's a certain address proof from here. So from here, you can straight away using the right click and open the dialog box from here and change the put whatever they want. You also can control the list time. Okay, the sum of the scope option. To enable the DHCP, okay, we need to click on the scope over here and using the activate. This is the option 43 function. And some people, they may confuse what is the meaning of the option 43. So for the DHCP, it's not just only assign the IP address to the access client. Option 43 is include one of the protocol you've been going to use for the CAPWAP. Okay, this CAPWAP protocol by default, when we don't going to never touch on the option 43, that means it will going to use the default. And the default for the option 43 is broadcast. It's 255.255.255.255. When the AC and the AP are connected through the layer 2 network, the AP can send a broadcast request to discover the AC if the AC IP address is not configured on the AP. Okay, basically here you're trying to do some explanation when the AC and the AP is belong to the same layer 2 network. So there's no need to configure any option 43 at all, because when the AP is sending the CAPWAP discovery, this is a broadcast form, all the layer 2 device belong to the same segment, it will going to receive this broadcast. So when the AC receive this broadcast, you do the reply. So this is how they form the communication and build the CAPWAP tunnel. When the AC and the AP are connected through the layer 3, when every single device is connected to the layer 3, it will have a different broadcast domain. And this one will depend what is the network segment they are belong to or what other VLAN. So right now, the AC and also the AP belong to two different VLAN. So if we want to make them can able to communicate, we cannot just using the default anymore, because the default for the option 43 is using a broadcast. Two different VLAN is not allowed the broadcast to send through. That's why we have to set up the option 43 here to make them can able to form the CAPWAP tunnel. As I mentioned, after we create a new scope, you can able to see so many fields over here. Oh, then it belong to one option inside the DHCP. Of course, don't worry on the another one is they have a server option. So you just right click on this server option and try to select the configure option. Okay, it will pop up this server option for you to select. So right here, you're able to see 043 for the vendor specified info. By default, nothing here. Okay, no data, binary, and the ASCII. So we need to manually configure it if you want to run in the layer 3 and change the CAPWAP discovery protocol become the unicast. So this is how actually we're going to modify it. So you just click on this option, okay, take 43. So from here, you have to right click and change the binary. So of course for binary, you will have a little bit hard, difficult to understand it. Okay, the 03 here on the first hex over here, we call as a sub option number. So we want to using the binary to configure the IP address. Like what is the AC IP address? We need to configure here as a 03. Then follow up is 0C. Okay, this 00 is referred to the hex, right? Okay, that means the number, the range for the IP address. So example, right now our AC IP address is going to use 192.168.22.1. The length of the IPv4 address, they have three number in one object. Like 192 is considered have three number. 168 is another three. Of course, 22 here, if I'm going to make it full, they also have three. If I'm going to change all add up together, it will become 12. So that means from here, 0C from a hex convert become the decimal, it will become 12. So this will be the format. This server option also allow us to using the ASCII to configure the IP address. So when you configure that, you just need to go here and change the IP address to 192.16 and then 22.1 will do. So after you click OK and select it, it will automatically help you to convert into the binary form. When you look at the view here, it's saying AC6605. So this is one of the Huawei AC, the access point. So it will also allow us to configure the DHCP from here. So if we want to using the CRI and configure and enable the DHCP, we need to enter to the system view and do that. So the first command we're going to use here is DHCP enable. Next step. Now I want to create a pool. So now I use a command called IP pool space. Over here is just a name. So you can giving any name that you want here. You can just name it DHCP or staff IP, client, or many other name that you want. So after you enter the IP pool, then the follow up here, you have to give the network IP address. So what is the segment, the network segment that you want to configure over here? Like just now, what the example is 192.168.22.0. Then you give the mask followed by 24. So we create the network mask from here. So now we already have the network address we're going to use inside the IP pool. Next step, don't forget to configure the gateway. Okay, gateway list space by the IP address that you want to set. After we done all of those, right, this is those of the default configuration we have to do. So for the IP, the DHCP configuration, we have two different type configuration. It will allow you to using the interface to configure the DHCP or the global view. So this is the global view of the DHCP configuration. So the main difference between the interface configuration and the global configuration is for this IP pool, it will allow you to change the gateway. But what if we're going to use the interface DHCP? So the interface DHCP might not allow you to do that. So for all the client getting this IP address from the interface of the AC, it will always point to the AC as a gateway. So this is the reason here. We're going to use a global because we're going to use the AC only to manage the AP and the client, but it's not forcing all the client point back the gateway to the AC. So I can change the gateway point to my firewall and many maybe some other equipment. Okay, right here, this is what I mentioned just now, option 43. So first we type in the command option space 43 space sub option, and don't forget put the 3 over here. This is the reason why just now I mentioned in the binary just now in the server there. So we use the starting code, the sub option is 03. For the CRI, we only using 3 will do. Okay, space by ASCII space by the address. So over here, they'll allow you to key in multiple the AC IP address. The first IP address they're going to key in here will be your main AC. And you also can try to configure 2 IP address followed by the space. Okay, so the first address you enter from here will become the main AC, and the second one will become the standby AC. And the last one, exclude IP address. So sometimes we might need to do this because we don't want the DHCP right to do the auto assign all the range of the IP address to all the access client. We need to reserve certain range of the IP for the static IP, like our switch, access switch, router, firewall, and many other equipment. We need to configure the static IP.